first motion against the RSJ in 72 years. India bloc moves the no trust motion against Dhankar. Over 50 opposition MPs signatures in this motion. Meanwhile, divisions in the opposition India bloc chorus grows from Mamata Banerjee to be the leader of the bloc. Lalu too backs for Didi. The Congress underplays the remarks. BJP and YSRCP slam the Congress leadership. 13 hours have been allocated for the discussion in Parliament on the Constitution. The BJP and Congress will get equal time during this discussion that will be taking place soon. And the Supreme Court takes cognizance of the remarks made by an Allahabad High Court at a VHP event. Seek details of what the judge said. The High Court judge said that India will run according to the majority, and a National Conference MP has also moved a notice seeking impeachment of the High Court judge over his alleged anti-Muslim remarks. The government is ready to launch its One Country, One Election project and can introduce a bill in Parliament in this session, is what sources have told NDTV. The Cabinet has already approved the report of Ramnath Kovind Committee on One Country, One Election, and the government now wants to form consensus on the bill and can send it to a joint parliamentary committee or JPC for detailed discussion, is what sources have said. Now, the JPC will hold discussions with representatives of all political parties. The other stakeholders will be involved in the process too. Speakers of all state assemblies can also be called along with their intellectuals from across the country. Opinion of the common people will also be taken. Initially, the government wants to involve the people, and the ways and means to achieve this can be discussed later, is what sources have said. Let's take a look at what various voices have said on this news.
मेरे साथ बीजेपी के वरिष्ठ नेता और लोकसभा सांसद जगदम्बिका पाल हैं। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन बिल सरकार ला सकती है, ऐसा रामदास अठावले केंद्रीय मंत्री ने कहा है इसी सत्र के दौरान। आप कैसे देखते हैं इस पहल को?
नहीं, देखिए, ये देश के हित में है और सरकार सभी दलों से इस बात पे चर्चा भी कर रही है, इस पे एक सहमति बनाने की कोशिश भी हो रही है। क्योंकि एक इलेक्शन क्यों होता है? गवर्नेंस के लिए, गवर्नमेंट बनाने के लिए। लेकिन लगातार अगर इलेक्शंस हो, लोकसभा के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर कुछ राज्यों के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर दूसरे इलेक्शंस हो, तो लगातार ये असेंबली और पार्लियामेंट के इलेक्शंस राउंड द ईयर जो हुआ करते हैं, उससे आचार संहिता लगती है, मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगता है, उससे कहीं ना कहीं विकास बाधित होता है। जब एक तरफ प्रधानमंत्री का विजन ये हो कि हम 2027 तक दुनिया की टॉप 3 इकोनॉमी में होंगे, तो टॉप 5 फ्रेजाइल इकोनॉमी जो 2014 में मिली थी, अगर टॉप 5 में हम फ्रेजाइल से आ गए और टॉप 3 में ले जाना है, तो इससे साफ है कि हम जब गवर्नेंस करेंगे, जब डिलीवरी करेंगे, जब डेवलपमेंट करेंगे, तभी कोई चीज़ होगी।
तो विपक्ष ने कहा है कि इस पर ये संसदीय लोकतंत्र के खिलाफ है ये प्रस्ताव।
देखिए, हमारा प्रयास है कि एक सहमति होती है, इस पे डायलॉग होगा, इस पे पार्टी हमारी ऑलरेडी कमेटी बना रखी है और उस पे आधार पे है। ये कोई सवाल है नहीं है कि ये तो देश के हित की बात है ना, इसलिए सबके हित की बात है, सभी पार्टियों को इस पे विचार
हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया।
कि माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जब 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री बने थे, तब उन्होंने देखा था कि भाई देश भर में बार बार चुनाव होते हैं और लोगों को भी उसमें तकलीफ होती है और उसमें पैसा भी ज़्यादा बर्बाद होता है। तो इसीलिए शुरू में जब संसद बनी थी और 26 जनवरी 1950 को संविधान लागू करने के बाद जो पहला इलेक्शन हुआ था 1952 में, तो तब लोकसभा और विधानसभा एक साथ होती थी। 4-5 चुनाव एक साथ ही हुए थे, लेकिन बाद में कई गवर्नमेंट डिसॉल्व हुई, पार्टी इधर उधर हो गया, उससे मतलब ये अनियमित आई है। तो माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का विजन है कि भाई वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन अगर एक बार हो जाएगा तो ये लोगों का टाइम भी बचाने में उसकी मदद होगी, और इसीलिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का एजेंडा हमारा है। माननीय रामनाथ कोविंद जी के कमेटी ने उसका रिपोर्ट सरकार के पास दे दिया है, सरकार ने कैबिनेट में उसको मंजूरी भी दी है अभी संसद में आना बाकी है, तो इस सत्र में ही वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का बिल आ सकता है और उसमें चर्चा करके अपोजिशन को हमारा कहना है कि भाई इसको आपने सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। अगर उसमें कोई सुझाव देना है तो सुझाव अमेंडमेंट के लिए दे सकते हैं, लेकिन वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को मेरे रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया का पूरा सपोर्ट है और वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन होना चाहिए, ये हमारी भूमिका है।
तो आपको लगता है शीतकालीन सत्र में सरकार ये बिल ला सकती है?
हाँ, मतलब अभी ला सकती है, अभी 2 सप्ताह बाकी है। अभी इसमें क्या हंगामा भी चल रहा है, इस पर बहस होना जरूरी है, चर्चा होना बहुत जरूरी है और सबका सुनकर सरकार अंतिम निर्णय लेगी। लेकिन सरकार ने तो निर्णय लिया है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, तो मुझे लगता है कि इस सत्र में भी बिल आ सकता है।
How do you see this idea? The government sources are saying that this bill, after it is tabled, will be sent to JPC for further deliberation.
First of all, the idea of one nation, one election is against parliamentary democracy norms. We are a parliamentary democracy. A government, be it a central government or a federal state government, only is there until it has a majority. There is no fixed term. And only in a presidential form of government we have fixed term. In my opinion, this is unconstitutional. If the government tries to table the bill, and if they send it to a joint parliamentary committee, and they will get these diverse views. And in fact, even when they bring the bill back to the House at any point of time, it will be defeated because I'm sure their own alliance partners, the TDP and the JDU, will not support it.
एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को लेकर के ये सरकार मनमानी करना चाहती है और ये सरकार ये थोपना चाहती है। सरकार को तर्क देना पड़ेगा कि आखिर इसे किस तरह से कंटिन्यू किया जा सकता है। ये हमारी पार्टी सदन में अपनी राय रखेगी, लेकिन ये सरकार की मनमानी नहीं चल सकती है। ये सरकार की मनसा नीयत ठीक नहीं है। ये चाहते हैं क्षेत्रीय दलों को समाप्त करना, इसलिए इस तरह की सरकार वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की बात कर रही है। सबकी राय से ही कुछ फैसला हो सकता है। इस बार विपक्ष मजबूत है।
News now from Karnataka, and tensions flared in Belagavi as members of the Panchmasli Lingayat community staged a large-scale protest there demanding reservation. A massive crowd gathered to protest the demand for the Panchmasli Lingayats inclusion in the 2A reservation category. The police then resorted to mild force to disperse the protesters, but you can see there some protesters injured in that lathi charge that took place. Now, the Lingayat Panchamasli community's demand has been gaining heat, and the Lingayat Panchamasli seer is spearheading this protest, and they had earlier threatened to lay siege to the Savarna Sauda as assembly session was underway if their demand for reservation was not met. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah on Monday had launched a counter-attack on opposition BJP on this issue, on their demand for increasing its reservation quantum, by alleging that the earlier BJP government had given an undertaking to the Supreme Court saying that it would maintain status quo on the reservation matrix. Let's go across to Pratibha now for more. And Pratibha, lathi action there on the protesters. What's the situation like right now?
Well, several of them have been taken into preventive custody, and the police had to resort to lathi charge mainly because the protesters attempted to lay siege at Savarna Sauda, which is the venue where the assembly session is on. Remember, the Karnataka assembly session, the winter session, is on at Belagavi, and day one started on an extremely argumentative note between the Congress as well as the BJP, where Basanagowda Patil Yatnal of the BJP did rake up the issue of this reservation for Panchamasali Lingayats, and they did talk about how this must be moved from 3B to the 2A category, which could benefit them. This has been a demand that has been laid down since 2011, and several of these seers as well as the activists have expressed their disappointment in the fact that none of the CMs, both from the Congress or the BJP, have paid heed to the demand. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in the meantime did mention that the previous regime of the BJP under the leadership of Basavaraj Bommai had actually spoken about how they could remove the 4% reservation that has been awarded to the Muslims and then divide it between 3A and 3B as 2% and 2% each. And this did not really go down well. The matter reached the Supreme Court and status quo had to be maintained, which has been an affidavit that was filed by the BJP leaders as well. And this was reminded by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, and all eyes were on day 2 of the Assembly session, which did not really go on in full swing, mainly because some of the tragic political events that took place here in Karnataka. All eyes are on how this could perhaps be amicably solved, because Chief Minister Siddaramaiah does mention that the ball lies in the Backward Classes Commission's court. And also remember, the Lingayats form a major vote bank for the BJP leaders there, also becomes one of the strongest and largest communities here in Karnataka. A demand like that, how it would really affect the political landscape here, especially at a time when the Congress has been muddled in several allegations as well as controversies, is also something that needs to be closely watched.
That's right, Pratibha, and also the BJP attacking the Congress over this. And as you mentioned, the Chief Minister there responding to this, saying that they were the ones who went to the Supreme Court and said that there should be status quo on the reservation matrix, as it were.
That's right. That's been the justification provided by Siddaramaiah, which was also immediately rebuked. And there were a lot of heated exchanges that took place between Yatnal as well as Siddaramaiah there on the floor of the House, and Yatnal mentioning that this definitely needs some serious thought as well as solution that needs to be provided. Because remember, Yatnal has been speaking about this for quite some time. He has been trying to arrange the protest of sorts, and they also wanted to ensure that there would be large tractors that could be brought in and the protest could be taking place in a large fashion. But then restrictions were imposed by the Congress government, and that led to the entire debate on the floor of the House on day 1. Panchamasali Lingayats reservation is also something that is extremely sensitive, and it also comes at a time when the Congress has been mulling the caste census report, which has already been given to them by the Backward Class Commission. So all of this will definitely play out on a large scale in the days to come. But then how and when and whether this will impact the entire politics in Karnataka is something that keeps everyone on tenterhooks, both the politicians as well as the community leaders here. Back to you.
All right, Pratibha, thanks so much for joining us there with all those details. News from Gurugram, where there was a blast at a pub there in Gurugram, and the blast was caught on CCTV. 2 country-made bombs were also recovered. Just take a look at the blast that took place. You can see the individual also throwing the bomb there. NIA team and local police were on the spot, and 2 people have been detained after the crude bombs exploded outside a famous nightclub early hours of this morning. The blast took place, according to the police, at around 5:15 a.m. This was outside Human nightclub in Sector 29 and was captured on CCTV, which was installed at an adjoining club. The Gurugram Special Task Force did manage to catch the accused, identified as one Sachin, a resident of Meerut in UP. Also recovered 2 live crude bombs from his possession. The accused Sachin reportedly in an inebriated condition threw the 2 Sutli bombs at the nightclub, and the police managed to catch him before he could throw 2 more. All right, that blast caught on CCTV. And news from Mumbai now, where at least 7 people were killed, over 49 injured after a speeding bus rammed into pedestrians and several vehicles. This was in Kurla West. That too was caught, as you can see on camera. The police have arrested the bus driver and booked him for culpable homicide. The Maharashtra Chief Minister has announced ex gratia of 5 lakh for family of those deceased. The driver has been remanded to police custody till the 21st of December.
I have with me Mr. Anil Digikar, who is the General Manager of BEST. So we saw what happened yesterday. As we are talking, 7 people have been reported dead and 49 are injured, and the number is expected to increase later on. What do you pick up from the situation? It's been just a few hours from when it has happened. Have you gotten any time to inspect the situation? What is your personal reading into it?
Well, this very unfortunate and tragic incident which took place yesterday, and our team visited the site, and we are inspecting. We are doing the forensic of the vehicle along with the RTO officers, and we'll find out whether there was any technical fault in the bus or it was the mistake of the driver. And I think more rigorous training for the drivers and awareness about the road safety is required. For that, we have formulated one committee, and which the committee will look into the training aspect, the duration, whether any modification is required, so that such kind of incidences do not occur in the future.
Can we get a little more information about this committee, sir? Who exactly are the people and have they started working on it already?
Yeah, we have called the meeting of all the wet lease operators. There are 4 to 5 wet lease operators, and we'll find out from them what kind of training they are giving and what kind of training is given by the BEST, and what kind of modification is required, whether the duration is to be increased, whether the number of hours of the driving test are to be increased. And these are the engineers and the operators who will be discussing with the operators as well as with our other drivers, and we'll come to the conclusion that such kind of change is required in the training of the drivers.
So what we're also learning is that the driver, as of now, we haven't found any report of him being under the influence of any alcohol or any other drugs. But the questions increase about the maintenance of the bus. What is your reading into that?
Yeah, this was electric vehicle and this was quite new vehicle, and prima facie we don't see any technical error in the bus, but we are checking the brake efficiency of the bus, and RTO officers and my engineers, they are testing whether the brake was sufficient enough to put the brake to the speed or not. And after the final report of the technical committee, then we'll come to the conclusion whether there was a fault in the maintenance of the bus or it was the driver's error.
News now from the northeast, where hundreds of men and women gathered in Imphal today for a massive rally calling for the repeal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, or ASPA as it's called. The rally coincided with International Human Rights Day today. The rally was organized by the All Manipur United Clubs organization with support from various groups, including Manipur Students Federation. Earlier we spoke to Ratnadeep for more details.
Hundreds of people, particularly women from the civil society groups, they took to the streets demanding repeal of ASPA in the state. Remember, very recently there were reimposition of ASPA in several police stations in the areas like Jiribam, for that example, where in the past couple of months there have been incidents of violence, and therefore ASPA has been reimposed. Also in certain other areas in the borders between the valley and the hill region. But most importantly, what these people are demanding is that not only repeal of ASPA, where it has been reimposed recently, but a total rollback of Armed Forces Special Power Act has been a larger demand of particularly people from the civil society groups. And this rally which took place, clearly you can see hundreds of people there. They're once again pressing on center in terms of withdrawing the reimposition of ASPA, which led to protest earlier, violent protest rather, earlier this month. In fact, the state cabinet has also urged center for withdrawal of ASPA in the areas where it has been reimposed recently.
With that, time for us to slip into a short break. More news coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
the energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heart.
Welcome back. Some entertainment news now, and it is the showman Raj Kapoor's 100th birth anniversary, and the Kapoor Khandan is heading to Delhi to meet with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Neetu Kapoor, Ranbir Kapoor, Alia Bhatt, Kareena Kapoor and Karishma Kapoor, as well as Saif Ali Khan, are all on their way to meet with the Prime Minister. With that, time for us to slip into a short break. News and updates coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland. The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City Mumbai
To the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat. Stay with us for all the news. Let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. A large crowd protested in Belagavi as assembly was underway to protest the demand for Panchamasli Lingayats inclusion in the 2A reservation category. The police resorted to mild force to disperse the protesters. The Supreme Court takes cognizance of an Allahabad High Court judge's remarks his purported remarks on Hindus. He said that India will be run as per the majority. The Supreme Court has asked for a report. Also, National Conference MP has moved a notice seeking impeachment of the High Court judge. A no-confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairman, first motion against the RS chair in 72 years. India bloc moves a no-trust motion against Vice President Dhankar, and over 50 opposition MPs are signatories to this motion. Meanwhile, the opposition is divided as well. The chorus grows for Mamata Banerjee to lead the India opposition bloc. Lalu Yadav too bats for Didi. The Congress, however, underplays the remarks. But first, some breaking news now coming in. The Chief Election Commissioner has said that during the Maharashtra Assembly elections, as per the Supreme Court of India and Election Commission of India guidelines, that 5 VVPAT slips at each assembly segment were counted to match it with the number in the EVM. In all, 288 assembly segments, a total number of 1,440 45 VVPAT slips were counted on the same day as counting, which was on the 23rd of November, and that there was no mismatch found in any of the VVPAT slips matching with their concerned EVM numbers. Remember, the opposition, MVA, had alleged that there were some issues with the EVMs, and they said that is the reason for their defeat and the resounding victory of the Mahayuti. This was various allegations were raised. The Congress even said they would take out a yatra against EVMs and raised several questions regarding the EVMs and the fairness really of the recent assembly election. Let's go across to Sunil Prabhu now for more. And Sunil, just explain this to us. What is it that the Election Commission has said? They said on the day itself that they had already tallied some of the VVPAT slips.
That's right. They'd earlier tallied, and now, of course, once again, a confirmation that those 5%, which the Election Commission has decided is the appropriate number to tally. This is based on a study of the Indian Statistical Institute. Some would, of course, argue why, when the EVM and the VVPAT was introduced, this after a petition by Subramanian Swamy, that there should have been corroboration of the EVM and the VVPAT to at least to 20%. But be that as it may, the Supreme Court, based on a study of the ISI, has kept it to 5%. Now, the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commission has confirmed that there's been no discrepancy on that issue. So it's in that drop that they are giving themselves a complete and total clean sheet.
Right, because this was a huge controversy raised, Sunil, by the opposition there in Maharashtra, given the resounding victory of the Mahayuti and the absolute numbers, with the BJP having a 90% conversion rate in terms of the numbers of seats they contested. All that, in fact, they were even planning, the Congress, to take out some kind of a yatra and talk more and attack the EVMs.
Well, I think it's just not the EVMs. I think they have now said this has to be a national movement, a people's movement against the Election Commission and against what they believe is faulty procedures, because it's just not EVMs, it's an entire process. For example, how do you decide the date of an election? Be it Maharashtra, where they didn't hold it along with Haryana, or the dates were changed in Haryana based on the BJP's petition. In Maharashtra also, as you can see how things have progressed. Then, of course, the voter data. How do you, remove 40 lakh people from the list to include 40 lakhs? All those discrepancies and that entire process. It's a long process in the election. It's just not the EVMs. And then, as I pointed out, the EVMs and the VVPAT. How many should be counted? Should it be only 5%? Should it be 20%? Many political parties ask for 100%. That will be back to the counting ballot. So all those issues have to be looked at. The Supreme Court has not given any guideline on that, but has left it to the Election Commission. The Election Commission, based on a study given by the ISI, Statistical Institute, has based it on 5%. Whether that can be increased or not, these are things that need to be looked at in its entirety to increase the confidence of stakeholders who are participating in this parliamentary democratic process.
All right, Sunil, thanks so much for joining us with that, and do stay on for the other news story as well. And in other news, National Conference MP Agha Saeed Ruhullah Mehdi is seeking the removal of Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav from the Allahabad High Court. In fact, on social media, he said that he is moving the motion in Parliament for the removal of Justice Yadav. And earlier, the Supreme Court also called for details from the Allahabad High Court after taking note of news reports of the speech given by Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav, who is a sitting judge of the High Court, and he attended an event by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and at that function he made this speech. While taking cognizance of the reported speech, the Allahabad High Court was directed to furnish details. Now, Justice Yadav stoked this controversy when he said that the country would function according to the wishes of the majority group. This was a video that was widely shared on social media, causing controversy. Let's go back to Sunil for more. And Sunil, so the Supreme Court seeking a report on the comments by this judge of the Allahabad High Court, and now National Conference MP too seeking action against him.
That's right. So there are two important aspects. One is, of course, on the administrative side. The Chief Justice of India and the Supreme Court has asked for a report from the Allahabad High Court for the context of those derogatory remarks, especially against minorities, made by Justice Yadav. Also, what was the reason for why he participated in such an event and all the other details thereof. The other, of course, and this comes in the backdrop, of course, of the fact that the Chief Justice of India, his hands are tied. He can't really, apart from, at maximum, stopping judicial work or asking questions, cannot really do too much against Justice Yadav. In fact, at the most, they can request him to resign. And if he doesn't do so, then there isn't any proper procedure to, remove him. So for that, you need to have a legislative process. And in that, a National Conference MP has said that he will seek the impeachment of the judge. For that, you need in the Lok Sabha at least 100 members of parliament to sign. And it emanates from the Rajya Sabha, at least 50. And that, of course, is a long and cumbersome process because not only once the motion is moved, then you have to form a committee. You will have to look at the various acts of omission. There will be a full, with the sitting judge, part of that entire process. And then, of course, the final decision will be taken on whether he is worthy of being impeached or not. So that itself could take years. And whether his tenure will be through that entire process, as we saw in Justice Soumitra Sen's case, where he resigned before he was impeached, even though the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha had moved his impeachment motion. So these are all time-consuming processes, but nevertheless, the Supreme Court taking a very important note of these events.
Right. And Sunil, just for viewers, if you could, explain why it's so problematic, firstly, even attending this event, and then, of course, the comments that were made, as I said, which were shared very widely on social media.
Well, judges themselves, in a full bench of the Supreme Court have taken a very, very strong view that, they will stay away from functions which have any political significance and, will not make remarks which are, disparaging. This is, of course, against their constitutional brief. And it's in that backdrop that this remarks which he has made about the majority, the derogatory remarks that have been made against the minority, it does not augur well for the judicial system. There is in our constitution an independence of the judicial system. And as you have been pointing out, we are seeing unprecedented times. For the first time in India, we are seeing the vice president, an impeachment motion being moved now for a sitting high court judge to do what he has done. Is definitely does not augur well for the constitutional mechanism and for the running of our country.
Sunil, thanks so much for joining us with all those details and developments. Let's move on to news now from Karnataka, where tensions flared in Belagavi as members of the Panchamasli Lingayat community staged a large-scale protest demanding reservation. This large crowd gathered to protest the demand for Panchamasli Lingayats' inclusion in the 2A reservation category, and the police then had to resort to mild force to disperse the protesters. There you can see some of the protesters injured as well, and a huge police presence there. The community's demand for a 2A reservation, and in fact a seer was spearheading the protest today in Belagavi, and they even threatened to lay siege to the Savarna Sauda where the assembly was underway if their demand for reservation was not met. Now, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah on Monday had launched a counter-attack on opposition BJP on this community's demand for increasing its reservation quantum. The Chief Minister alleged that in the previous BJP government that they had given an undertaking to the Supreme Court saying that it would maintain status quo on the reservation matrix, which he said is contrary to the Saffron Party's claims that it had set in motion a process to increase a reservation for the Panchamasli sect. But there you can see earlier on there was this massive protest, and there was this lathi charge as well. Let's go back across to Pratibha, who joins us for more on this. Pratibha, do explain to viewers what this entire issue is about and what is the situation now?
It all starts with the Lingayats forming one of the largest communities here in Karnataka. And under the Lingayat community, we have the Panchamasali Lingayats who have been demanding reservation, and they have been falling under the category called the 3B, which means 5% reservation, and they want to move to the 2A category, which would give them 15% reservation. And imagine the kind of benefits then they could possibly enjoy. This has been a demand that has been laid down by the community since 2011. Several of the seers have expressed their disappointment, talking about how many CMs have come and gone, but their demand has always remained unfulfilled. This time around, Basanagowda Patil Yatnal, one of the senior BJP leaders, raked up the issue on day one of the Karnataka Assembly session at Belagavi, and a heated exchange took place between Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well as Mr. Yatnal there. Now, what has been the justification provided by the Congress government? Well, they've been claiming that an activity took place during the previous BJP regime under the leadership of Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai then, who mentioned that he would be taking away 4% reservation that was already awarded to the Muslims, and he would be taking that and dividing it into 2% each for the 3A as well as the 3B category there. And this did not really sit well with many other communities. The matter reached the Supreme Court and status quo was maintained. Why bring up the issue now? And that is precisely how the entire issue has now hit the streets with this protest, and many of them who have been detained and taken into preventive custody. How this will affect the political landscape would be seen in the days to come with respect to the session. Back to you.
All right, Pratibha, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. Well, it's over now to Maria for more.
As the logjam continues in Parliament, what really is the way out? Remember, both the sides, the Treasury benches and the opposition, have taken a maximalist position. We have Shekhar Iyer, a senior journalist who has tracked Parliament and parliamentary democracy of India for decades. Shekhar, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. The question is, what really is the way out? There are allegations which have been leveled by the BJP against the Congress leadership, against none other than Mrs. Gandhi herself.
Indeed, it's a logjam, it's a stalemate which doesn't appear can easily be broken because there is absolutely no dialogue at the moment. See, normally what we have seen in previous situations or a decade earlier, such logjams were resolved by some kind of a discussion going on and a way being found. But now that a notice has been given for impeachment against the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, which is a very serious move. It has never happened before. Now, that means things have reached a point of no return. Now, obviously, the government is not going to easily accept that kind of a situation where they will easily let a motion being moved against the Rajya Sabha chairman. The subjects, the whole controversy was about Congress wanting to raise the issue of the alleged nexus between the Prime Minister and the business group. And on the other hand, the BJP has come out with a much more serious charge because this directly raises questions about the means adopted by the Congress party, its leadership in targeting the government. Now, both are serious. I mean, the opposition says you have never allowed a discussion. And on the other hand, the BJP maintains that this whole thing that is happening in Parliament, outside Parliament, is being done in some kind of a collaboration or in the guidance with people who are operating from abroad. These are very serious charges. And I feel, Maria, can this subject as such be discussed on the House? Because these are insinuations. These are, these are huge insinuations and allegations. Now, how do you move a debate in the two houses on the basis of insinuation? So there is obviously, the stand taken by the chair in both the houses is we can have a structured debate.
But how do you have a debate on insinuation then?
That's exactly the problem. You will have to word it in such a way that a motion, notice can be given, because the opposition has been insisting on both the houses that the House, go for an adjournment motion kind of thing. Adjournment motion is always seen as some kind of a censure of the government. The government obviously is not going to accept some kind of a censure. And also the drama that is going on outside. Yesterday you saw people wearing masks of the Prime Minister and enacting a drama, and Rahul Gandhi interviewing two people wearing masks. Now, so there is a lot of theatrics that is getting coming to foreplay. The message seems to be to address the people at large, but the Congress leadership hasn't realized that it's a solo operation. The other opposition parties are not willing to join in targeting of a particular industrialist or a particular industrialist group. Something Sharad Pawar had long ago counseled the party, saying, we have never ever gone for this kind of an individual targeting. Because we can raise issues, we can talk about government policies, but we cannot just go on targeting a particular individual.
Okay,
saying that
so
that particular
if
individual
the Congress has got its strategy wrong by targeting an individual, a particular business house, then Shekhar, what really is the way forward? Because the Congress seems to be adamant. On the other hand, the government of the day has gone ahead and said that there is the larger nexus which is at play, which is making the Congress talk about this issue, because they realize that the entire OCCRP has come out with enough details talking about how there is the larger, play at works against India.
No, see, obviously, what we can see, the current campaign that's going on. See, business houses do face international competition and international rivalries, and they have rivals and enemies. I mean, this is not something new. But why should a political party like the Congress get sucked into this game? That's the question that the government is asking. Because I think an erroneous approach, particularly of Rahul Gandhi, I must say, because this is not shared by all the Congress leaders. And none of the allies are willing to completely jeopardize the functioning of the parliament solely on the basis of one particular issue which they want to be discussed in a particular way. So I think, and also, this issue was taken up during the elections, the recent Maharashtra election, as well as Haryana elections. But these doesn't seem to, resonate with the voters, with the electorate. They don't seem to understand what is this obsession of the Congress leadership when even the other opposition parties do not seem to be joining them on this. I think it is for the Congress party to realize, they have taken it to a point where they don't have the cooperation of other opposition parties. There doesn't seem to be resonation on the ground. And the government is sticking to its stand. And after all, a parliament, for it to function, you see, the golden rule, Maria, we have always seen is, the opposition has its say and the government has its way in terms of legislative work. But we are seeing a new situation where nobody wants to compromise, nobody wants to see the parliament works. And unfortunately, the leading opposition party feels that it is just stuck on one issue. And doesn't have the support of other opposition parties also. Okay. Now they want to escalate it by questioning the role of the chair. I mean, this is even more serious.
All right, Shekhar Iyer, thank you so much for sharing your views on this ongoing pandemonium which is continuing in Parliament, leading to almost like a total and complete washout of the winter session. With that, it's back to you, Gargi. A lot of interesting debates lined up perhaps for the weekend, but at the moment what appears is that none of the two sides, be it the Treasury benches or the opposition, is ready to back down.
All right, thanks so much for that, Maria. Now, divisions have emerged within the opposition amid the leadership tussle in the India bloc. RJD chief and former Bihar chief minister Lalu Prasad Yadav today extended support to Trinamool Congress chief Mamata Banerjee's candidature. In fact, when asked by journalists, Lalu Yadav said Congress's objection means nothing. We will support Mamata. Now, Mamata Banerjee should be given the leadership of the India bloc. We will form government, he goes on to say, in 2025. Now, remember earlier, Lalu's son and senior RJD leader Tejashwi Yadav had also said that no objection to any senior leader of the India bloc, including Banerjee, leading the coalition, but stressed that the decision must be reached through consensus. Banerjee had on December 6th expressed dissatisfaction with the functioning of the opposition India bloc led by the Congress party, signalling her intent to take charge of the alliance if given the opportunity. Trinamool MP Kirti Azad said she is the most suitable for the job as she is the only leader who has repeatedly defeated the BJP in Bengal. The BJP says statements from opposition leaders expose the Congress's and Rahul Gandhi's inability to lead.
तो ममता जी को जो दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे।
25 में बोल रहे सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ बनाएंगे हम लोग।
तो ममता जी को जो दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे। 25 में बोल रहे सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ, बनाएंगे हम लोग।
सबको एक साथ बैठकर इंडिया ब्लॉक के लीडरशिप के बारे में जो समय दे सके, इंडिया ब्लॉक के काम को देश भर में, उस बारे में, नेतृत्व के बारे में चर्चा करने की हमारी सबकी इच्छा है। चाहे शरद पवार जी हो, चाहे ममता जी हो, लालू जी, अखिलेश जी, उद्धव ठाकरे साहब, शायद नवीन पटनायक भी उसमें आ सकते हैं, नवीन बाबू भी आ सकते हैं। तो हम सब बात करेंगे, चर्चा चल रही है, आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ संपर्क चल रहा है।
कि अभी हमारी पार्टी की तरफ से अभी कोई ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट नहीं आया है, तो अभी मैं इस पर फिलहाल कुछ बोल नहीं पाऊंगी। सभी पार्टीज की अपनी अपनी राय होती है, फिर आपस में मिल बैठ के जब मीटिंग होगी उसमें सर्वसम्मति से जो भी होगा वो हमारी पार्टी को स्वीकार होगा।
ममता बनर्जी का नाम लगातार आगे आ रहा है, तमाम जो अलायंस मेंबर्स हैं वो उनका ही नाम ले रहे हैं कि उनको लीड करना चाहिए।
आज इस पर कहीं कोई चर्चा नहीं है, न कोई आवश्यकता है। आज जरूरत है इस देश में सौहार्द कायम करने की। आज जरूरत है इस देश में महंगाई घटाने की। आज जरूरत है हमारे देश का करोड़ों नौजवान जो बेरोजगार है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार रहते चलते पेपर लीक हो रहा है। आज इस पर सब पर हमें सोचना है और इस पर समाधान का रास्ता करना है। और इस तरह की इंडिया गठबंधन इसके लिए का है,
क्योंकि लालू प्रसाद यादव से लेकर उमर अब्दुल्ला से लेकर शरद पवार
ऐसा है,
बोल रहे हैं कि राहुल गांधी की जगह ममता बनर्जी को लीड करना।
ये सब इन लोगों का अपने विचार है, ये इन लोगों के विचार हो सकते हैं, लेकिन आज जो राष्ट्र के सामने, देश के सामने, हम लोगों के सामने बड़ा सवाल है, वो किसानों का सवाल है। बड़ा सवाल है इस देश के करोड़ों नौजवानों का, जो पढ़े लिखे हैं, जो हमारी दौलत है। किसी देश की दौलत हीरा जवाहरात सोना चांदी नहीं होता है, उस देश की दौलत हमारा नौजवान है, हमारा किसान है और देश के रहने वाले लोग हैं। हमें उनकी भलाई के लिए, हमें उनके वेलफेयर के लिए आज चर्चा करना है, सोचना है, सदन में रखना है। आज ये सवालात हैं।
देखिए, इंडिया ब्लॉक में कई सारी पार्टीज हैं, आज से नहीं है, लोकसभा से पहले है। तो जो मंच गणतांत्रिक है, डेमोक्रेटिक अगर कोई अलायंस है, उसमें सब अपने विचार रख सकते हैं, पर निर्णय सब मिलकर ही लेंगे।
Even though YSRCP is not part of India bloc or NDA, I sincerely feel, because of the past experience, and I have been seeing the Congress party for the last 8 years in Rajya Sabha. This is the 9th year. At this point of time, I feel that the Congress party has failed to lead India bloc for the last one and a half years. Didi ji will be in a position to lead the India bloc parties, and Didi ji will be able to handle any issue, any problem that crops up in any given situation, and handle more effectively and efficiently than Congress party. Therefore, Didi ji should be made to lead the India bloc parties.
Well, joining with me is Trinamool Congress MP Kirti Azad. Sir, after Sharad Pawar, it is Lalu Prasad Yadav. Umar Abdullah yesterday stated that let the meeting happen and then Mamata Banerjee can claim the leadership for the India bloc. Do you think that the chorus is growing for Mamata Banerjee to take the charge of India bloc?
She hasn't claimed. The leaders have been asking her to lead the thing. And once they were all asking whether it was the Uddhav Shiv Sena or it was Samajwadi Party, or for that matter it was the Bhishma Pitama of Indian politics, Sharad Pawar ji, and now Lalu Yadav ji. They all are saying, so once they all said, she said, I formed the India bloc and I'm ready to lead. She never claimed it. We never claimed it. We always said that she is the best to lead the India bloc. And that is what the voices from across the country of all leaders are coming.
They have always been saying that there is a teamwork that is required to win a game. And in this India bloc, there are differences as far as opinions are concerned to who can lead the entire India bloc. Would you find it right that if Mamata Banerjee takes the charge, then everybody will be on the same page?
Well, you have various family members and in the family there are 2 or 3 brothers and sisters. They all have difference of opinion, and yet they come to some solution for the family. When you talk about it, we always feel that the person who is the best to lead, who's got the best performance, who's performed really well. If you look at the strike rate of Congress and BJP, Congress only has 10% winning strike rate. And if you look at TMC and BJP, TMC has 70% winning strike rate.
लगातार जो इंडिया ब्लॉक के अलायंस पार्टनर्स हैं, शरद पवार, लालू प्रसाद यादव, उमर अब्दुल्ला, तमाम लीडर्स अब बोल रहे हैं कि ममता बनर्जी को इंडिया ब्लॉक की लीडरशिप दे देनी चाहिए। खुद ममता बनर्जी ने बोला मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से इंडिया ब्लॉक लीड कर सकती हूँ। किस तरीके से देखते हैं आप इन तमाम जो कोरस ग्रो हो रहा है?
आज तो आपको अपना रिकॉर्ड स्ट्रेट और ठीक रखना चाहिए। अभी आपने देखा होगा सीनियर मेंबर पार्लियामेंट आरजेडी के नेता अभी यहाँ बोल के गए कि आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट लालू जी की बात की।
All right, let's go across to where Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju is speaking.
और राज्यसभा का अध्यक्ष हम सबका गाइड होते हैं। हाउस का एक बहुत ही पवित्र स्थान का ध्यान में रखते हुए जो भी चेयर में बैठते हैं उसका निर्णय का पालन करना होता है। जब चेयर का ऑर्डर को आप पालन नहीं करेंगे फिर सदन ठीक से नहीं चल सकता है। यह व्यवस्था बनाया हुआ है, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी और उनके साथियों ने लगातार चेयर का अपमान किया है और चेयर का डायरेक्शन को भी नहीं मानते हुए बहुत गलत तरीके से सदन में व्यवहार किया है। उपराष्ट्रपति श्री जगदीप धनखड़ जी एक आम परिवार से, एक गरीब किसान परिवार से आते हैं। जाट कम्युनिटी से पहली बार उपराष्ट्रपति के पद पर आसीन हुए हैं और हमेशा उपराष्ट्रपति जी किसानों के भलाई के लिए, गरीबों के लिए, देश का भलाई के लिए संसद में भी बात रखते हैं और संसद के बाहर में भी अपना मत रखते हैं और हम लोगों को गाइड करते हैं। हम उपराष्ट्रपति श्री जगदीप धनखड़ जी का बहुत इज्जत करते हैं। बहुत ज्ञानी आदमी हैं, बहुत ही एक नेक इंसान है और उपराष्ट्रपति के पद पर आसीन है। इसका हम सब फ़ख्र महसूस करते हैं। लेकिन जो नोटिस चेयरमैन के खिलाफ, उपराष्ट्रपति जी के खिलाफ में जो नोटिस सर्व किया है, सबसे पहले मैं उस नोटिस सर्व करने वाले 60 MPs जिन्होंने साइन किए हैं उनका इस कदम को मैं खंडन करना चाहता हूं। दूसरी, हमारे पास पूरा बहुमत है, एनडीए सरकार के पास पूरा संख्या है और सदन के पूरे मेजॉरिटी मेंबर्स उपराष्ट्रपति जी को ऊपर में पूरा भरोसा है। हम माननीय चेयरमैन का कामकाज से बहुत खुश हैं और हम उसके प्रति धन्यवाद भी करते हैं क्योंकि वो समय समय पर सदन का भी अच्छा से चलाते हैं और हम सबको गाइड करते हैं। ऐसे समय में जब देश का सामने में जॉर्ज सोरोस और कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व का गठबंधन, जॉर्ज सोरोस और कांग्रेस पार्टी का तालमेल, आपस में जो उनके एक भारत के विरोध में काम करने का सिलसिला और गतिविधि सामने में आए हैं, तब से कांग्रेस पार्टी तिलमिलाए हुए हैं, घबराए हुए हैं। जॉर्ज सोरोस और कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेतृत्व के बीच में साठ गांठ रिपोर्ट सामने में आने के बाद OCCRP और कांग्रेस नेतृत्व का तालमेल जब से सामने में आए हैं तो कांग्रेस पार्टी और उनके कुछ साथी बहुत बुरी तरह से तिलमिलाए हुए हैं, घबराए हुए हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि देश के सामने में कांग्रेस का नेतृत्व माफ़ी मांगना चाहिए, देश विरोधी ताकतों के साथ तालमेल करके काम करने का जो रिपोर्ट सामने में आए हैं उसको लेकर के पूरा देश बहुत गंभीर है, चिंतित है कि देश के लिए काम करने के लिए संसद में जो भी चुने हुए प्रतिनिधि हैं और मुख्य राजनीतिक दल इस देश का, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने लगभग 60 साल तक इस देश को शासन किया है और उसके बाद कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व जॉर्ज सोरोस और OCCRP जैसे संगठनों से सांठगांठ होना ये बहुत ही गंभीर मामला है, हम लोग गंभीरता से ले रहे हैं। मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी और जो लोग उपराष्ट्रपति जी के खिलाफ में नोटिस का उस पत्र में साइन किया है उनको कहना चाहता हूं कि इस तरह के हरकतें ना करें, लोकतंत्र के लिए ठीक नहीं है। उपराष्ट्रपति का पूरा सम्मान होना चाहिए, राज्यसभा का सदन का सभापति का पूरा सम्मान होना चाहिए और इस नोटिस का हम बिल्कुल पुरजोर विरोध करते हैं और इस तरीके के नोटिस कभी भी कामयाब नहीं हो सकते हैं। जो नोटिस अपना गलत काम को छुपाने के लिए, ध्यान भटकाने के लिए जो नोटिस सर्व किए हैं चेयरमैन के खिलाफ, वो शर्मनाक है, ऐसा हरकतों से बचना चाहिए।
Sir, the Congress party has said, the Congress and the alliance partners have said that because the RSTF has acted in a partisan manner and perhaps that is why they are compelled to bring this. But the government has always stated that we are ready for debate and discussion, but there should not be any disruption. How do you react to this?
Government from the very first day has been very insistent that the House must function smoothly and all the listed business must be transacted in a proper manner. The business advisory committees of both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha have already sat, decided and allotted the times for bills as well as for the discussion on the Constitution of India and its adoption. This is the 75th year of the adoption of the Constitution of India. We have already given dates, 13th and 14th to be discussed in Lok Sabha and 16th and 17th of December in the Rajya Sabha. When all the business are decided, when the time allocation has already been finalized, there was no need for the Congress party and the opposition leaders to serve a notice against the Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This notice is only prompted by their effort to get away from the exposure of the links between OCCRP, George Soros and the leadership of the Congress party. This kind of diversionary tactics will not succeed, and we are very strongly defending the Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Jagdeep Dhankar ji, is born in a very humble farmer family. He is a voice of the Kisan of our country. He is the first Uprashtrapati belonging to Jat community. This kind of assault on the chair of the Rajya Sabha is extremely regrettable, and I would urge the Congress party and those members who have signed the petition against the Honorable Chairman to seek apology and desist from conducting in this kind of regressible and reprehensible manner.
सर, लेकिन नियमानुसार उनका कहना यह है कि अगर 50 से ज़्यादा सांसद साइन करते हैं तो it has to be accepted for discussion.
Acceptance करने में हमारा कोई समस्या नहीं है. It is not about the acceptance or discussion on the notice. It is a question of the integrity and the thought behind bringing such condemnable steps taken by the Congress party and the other members, those who have signed the petition. I am very, very clear about it. We are proud of the Honorable Vice President of India, and he has been extremely professional and impartial. One of the points mentioned in the petition is that the Honorable Vice President has praised the RSS. RSS is a proud nationalist organization of our country. You can praise any organization. You can have good words and thoughts about any organization in India as long as this organization is genuine and not illegal. What is wrong in praising RSS? I fail to understand how Congress party has taken a strong exception to Vice President having a good words about RSS. This attitude itself is showing that this Congress party and their allies are bereft of any agenda. This is purely a diversionary tactics to get away from the exposure which has come to the fore between the Congress leadership, the George Soros and OCCRP organization.
Sir, the India bloc is constantly trying to raise the voice on the issue of what's happening in Manipur, and they have also held a protest in the national capital with the TMC, Aam Aadmi Party and NCP.
All the issues which are tabled in the House, which are in the consideration of the chairman, they are, as per the rule, discussed once the permission is granted. The House cannot be run in the whims and fancies of some individuals. There should be no Maharaja, there should be no Rajkumar in India's Parliament House. Everybody is equal. All the members of the Parliament have the right to talk about, raise the issues concerning their constituency and the states they belong to.
So one question, sir. Just now, Jairam Ramesh has come out with a statement. He basically alleges that Parliamentary Affairs Minister in front of the RS chairman and JP Nadda said will not allow RS to function if LS does not function. So the allegation is coming from Jairam Ramesh towards you, sir. How do you respond to this?
I am very categorically saying again, once the Parliament has started functioning smoothly, what prompted the Congress party to create dramas in the House? What was the need to come with a dress printed with slogans in their mask and the jackets and toasting around in the House? What is the necessary for the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha to act in a most condemnable manner by filming and creating dramas and doing some theatric actions? These are totally unbecoming of the member of the Parliament. And the gentleman is the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. Is it befitting for the leader of opposition to behave in this kind of a condemnable theatric manner? I fail to understand. There are some good members in the Congress party also. But why are they unable to prevail on the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha to act in a responsible manner? Sri Rahul Gandhi's actions and acting and his conducts are there before everybody to see. In a healthy democracy, if this kind of behavior is being shown by the leader of opposition, what is the moral right? What is the authority left with him to speak in the House? He is not fit to be leader of opposition if he starts behaving like this. We are here to discuss, debate, and to transact the business in the interest of the country. We are here to serve the nation. We are not here to see the dramas in this manner. Once again, this notice served by the members of Congress party and some of its allies must be rejected and will be rejected, and we will ensure that this kind of action will not be accepted by the House. Thank you.
Right, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju, they're hitting out at the opposition for the motion that they brought against the Rajya Sabha, against the Vice President Dhankar in the Rajya Sabha. The chair of the Rajya Sabha also hitting out at the Congress, saying they're linked to anti-India forces and are scared of being exposed. And these are all diversionary tactics, also saying that Rahul Gandhi is not fit to be leader of the opposition.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
And it's right there. मैं everywhere कहीं से भी करूँ collect spend करूँ direct.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn reward with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you
Welcome back. Well, let's get you the latest on Parliament, and the government is ready to launch its One Country, One Election project and can introduce a bill in Parliament in this very session, is what sources have told NDTV. The cabinet has already approved the report of the Ramnath Kovind Committee on One Country, One Election, and the government now wants to form consensus on the bill and can send it to a joint parliamentary committee or JPC for detailed discussions. The JPC will then hold discussions with representatives of various political parties and other stakeholders. Will also be involved in the process. Speakers of all state assemblies may also be called along with intellectuals from across the country, is what sources say. The opinion of common people will also be taken. Initially, the government wants to involve people, and the ways and means to achieve this can be discussed later. So, who has said what on this issue? Let's listen in.
मेरे साथ बीजेपी के वरिष्ठ नेता और लोकसभा सांसद जगदम्बिका पाल हैं। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन बिल सरकार ला सकती है, ऐसा रामदास अठावले केंद्रीय मंत्री ने कहा है इसी सत्र के दौरान। आप कैसे देखते हैं इस पहल को?
नहीं, देखिए, ये देश के हित में है और सरकार सभी दलों से इस बात पे चर्चा भी कर रही है, इस पे एक सहमति बनाने की कोशिश भी हो रही है। क्योंकि एक इलेक्शन क्यों होता है? गवर्नेंस के लिए, गवर्नमेंट बनाने के लिए। लेकिन लगातार अगर इलेक्शंस हो, लोकसभा के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर कुछ राज्यों के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर दूसरे इलेक्शंस हो, तो लगातार ये असेंबली और पार्लियामेंट के इलेक्शंस राउंड द ईयर जो हुआ करते हैं, उससे आचार संहिता लगती है, मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगता है, उससे कहीं ना कहीं विकास बाधित होता है। जब एक तरफ प्रधानमंत्री का विजन ये हो कि हम 2027 तक दुनिया की टॉप 3 इकोनॉमी में होंगे, तो टॉप 5 फ्रेजाइल इकोनॉमी जो 2014 में मिली थी, अगर टॉप 5 में हम फ्रेजाइल से आ गए और टॉप 3 में ले जाना है, तो इससे साफ है कि हम जब गवर्नेंस करेंगे, जब डिलीवरी करेंगे, जब डेवलपमेंट करेंगे, तभी कोई चीज़ होगी।
तो विपक्ष ने कहा है कि इस पर ये संसदीय लोकतंत्र के खिलाफ है ये प्रस्ताव।
देखिए, हमारा प्रयास है कि एक सहमति होती है, इस पे डायलॉग होगा, इस पे पार्टी हमारी ऑलरेडी कमेटी बना रखी है और उस पे आधार पे है। ये कोई सवाल है नहीं कि ये तो देश के हित की बात है ना, इसलिए सबके हित की बात है, सभी पार्टियों को इस पर
हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया।
कि माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जब 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री बने थे, तब उन्होंने देखा था कि भाई देश भर में बार बार चुनाव होते हैं और लोगों को भी उसमें तकलीफ होती है और उसमें पैसा भी ज़्यादा बर्बाद होता है। तो इसीलिए शुरू में जब संसद बनी थी और 26 जनवरी 1950 को संविधान लागू करने के बाद जो पहला इलेक्शन हुआ था 1952 में, तो तब लोकसभा और विधानसभा एक साथ होती थी, 4-5 चुनाव एक साथ ही हुए थे। लेकिन बाद में कई गवर्नमेंट डिसॉल्व हुई, का पार्टी इधर उधर हो गया, उससे मतलब ये अनियमित आई है। तो माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का विजन है कि भाई वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन अगर एक बार हो जाएगा तो ये लोगों का टाइम भी बचाने में उसकी मदद होगी और इसीलिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का एजेंडा हमारा है। माननीय रामनाथ कोविंद जी के कमेटी ने उसका रिपोर्ट सरकार के पास दे दिया है, सरकार ने कैबिनेट में उसको मंजूरी भी दी है। अभी संसद में आना बाकी है, तो इस सत्र में ही वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का बिल आ सकता है और उसमें चर्चा करके अपोजिशन को हमारा कहना है कि भाई इसको आपने सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। अगर उसमें कोई सुझाव देना है तो सुझाव अमेंडमेंट के लिए दे सकते हैं, लेकिन वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को मेरे रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया का पूरा सपोर्ट है और वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन होना चाहिए, ये हमारी भूमिका है।
तो आपको लगता है शीतकालीन सत्र में सरकार ये बिल ला सकती है?
मतलब अभी ला सकती है, अभी 2 सप्ताह बाकी है, अभी इसमें क्या हंगामा भी चल रहा है, इस पर बहस होना जरूरी है, चर्चा होना बहुत जरूरी है और सबका सुनकर सरकार अंतिम निर्णय लेगी। लेकिन सरकार ने तो निर्णय लिया है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, तो मुझे लगता है कि इस सत्र में भी बिल आ सकता है।
How do you see this idea? The government sources are saying that this bill, after it is tabled, will be sent to JPC for further deliberation.
First of all, the idea of one nation, one election is against parliamentary democracy norms. We are a parliamentary democracy. A government, be it a central government or a federal state government, only is there until it has a majority. There is no fixed term. And only in a presidential form of government we have fixed term. In my opinion, this is unconstitutional. If the government tries to table the bill, and if they send it to a joint parliamentary committee, and they will get these diverse views. And in fact, even when they bring the bill back to the House at any point of time, it will be defeated because I'm sure their own alliance partners, the TDP and the JDU, will not support it.
एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को लेकर के ये सरकार मनमानी करना चाहती है और ये सरकार ये थोपना चाहती है। सरकार को तर्क देना पड़ेगा कि आखिर इसे किस तरह से कंटिन्यू किया जा सकता है। ये हमारी पार्टी सदन में अपनी राय रखेगी, लेकिन ये सरकार की मनमानी नहीं चल सकती है। ये सरकार की मनसा नीयत ठीक नहीं है। ये चाहते हैं क्षेत्रीय दलों को समाप्त करना, इसलिए इस तरह की सरकार वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की बात कर रही है। सबकी राय से ही कुछ फैसला हो सकता है। इस बार विपक्ष मजबूत है।
News now from Gurugram, where two country-made bombs were recovered after a blast took place at a pub. In fact, CCTV footage of that blast can be seen. NIA team and local police were on the spot soon. Two people were detained after two crude bombs exploded outside a famous nightclub in Haryana's Gurugram. The blast took place at around 5:15 this morning outside the Human nightclub in Sector 29, and it was captured by CCTV. From the camera in the adjoining club. The Gurugram Special Task Force nabbed the accused, who's been identified as Sachin, a resident of Meerut, and recovered two live crude bombs from his possession. The accused was reportedly in an inebriated state and threw the two Sutli bombs at the nightclub. Police nabbed him before he could throw the other bombs. Amid the leadership tussle in the India bloc, RJD chief and former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav has extended his support to Trinamool Congress chief Mamta Banerjee's candidature. Lalu Yadav said the Congress's objection means nothing and we will support Mamta Banerjee, that she should be given leadership of the India bloc and we will form government in 2025. Earlier, Lalu's son and senior RJD leader Tejashwi Yadav had said that he had no objection to any senior leader of the India bloc, including Banerjee leading the coalition, but stressed that the decision must be reached through consensus. Remember, it's the Congress currently leading the bloc. Banerjee had on December 6 expressed dissatisfaction with the functioning of the India bloc, signalling her intent to take charge of the alliance.
तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे।
25 में बोल रहे हैं सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ बनाएंगे हम लोग।
तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे।
25 में बोल रहे हैं सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ बनाएंगे हम लोग।
सबको एक साथ बैठकर इंडिया ब्लॉक के लीडरशिप के बारे में जो समय दे सके, इंडिया ब्लॉक के काम को देश भर में, उस बारे में, नेतृत्व के बारे में चर्चा करने की हमारी सबकी इच्छा है। चाहे शरद पवार जी हो, चाहे ममता जी हो, लालू जी, अखिलेश जी, उद्धव ठाकरे साहब, शायद नवीन पटनायक भी उसमें आ सकते हैं, नवीन बाबू भी आ सकते हैं। तो हम सब बात करेंगे, चर्चा चल रही है, आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ संपर्क चल रहा है।
कि अभी हमारी पार्टी की तरफ से अभी कोई ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट नहीं आया है, तो अभी मैं इस पर फिलहाल कुछ बोल नहीं पाऊंगी। सभी पार्टीज की अपनी अपनी राय होती है, फिर आपस में मिल बैठ के जब मीटिंग होगी उसमें सर्वसम्मति से जो भी होगा वो हमारी पार्टी को स्वीकार होगा।
देखिए, इंडिया ब्लॉक में कई सारी पार्टीज हैं, आज से नहीं है, लोकसभा से पहले है। तो जो मंच गणतांत्रिक है, डेमोक्रेटिक अगर कोई अलायंस है, उसमें सब अपने विचार रख सकते हैं, पर निर्णय सब मिलकर ही लेंगे।
लगातार जो इंडिया ब्लॉक के अलायंस पार्टनर्स हैं, शरद पवार, लालू प्रसाद यादव, उमर अब्दुल्ला, तमाम लीडर्स अब बोल रहे हैं कि ममता बनर्जी को इंडिया ब्लॉक की लीडरशिप दे देनी चाहिए। खुद ममता बनर्जी ने बोला मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से इंडिया ब्लॉक लीड कर सकती हूँ। किस तरीके से देखते हैं आप इन तमाम जो कोरस ग्रो हो रहा है?
आज तो आपको अपना रिकॉर्ड स्ट्रेट और ठीक रखना चाहिए। अभी आपने देखा होगा सीनियर मेंबर पार्लियामेंट आरजेडी के नेता अभी यहाँ बोल के गए कि आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट लालू जी की बात की गई है, लालू जी ने ऐसा नहीं कहा। तो वो बात छोड़िए, हाउस नहीं चलता है, रूलिंग पार्टी के एमपी 3 दिन से नहीं चला रहे हैं। क्यों नहीं चला रहे भाई? रूलिंग पार्टी की तो जिम्मेवारी होती है हाउस चले। आज तक इतिहास में कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि सत्ता पक्ष हाउस ना चलने दे, तो इसके लिए जिम्मेवारी सत्ता पक्ष की है।
All right, so tussle there in the India block. With that, time for us to slip into a short break. News and updates continue right here on NDTV. Do keep watching.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
the energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you.
Bengaluru engineer dies by suicide. Man posts video before his death and blames his wife for harassment. First motion against Rajya Sabha chair in 72 years. India bloc moves no trust motion against Dhankar. Rijiju says opposition move shameful. A large crowd has gathered in Belgavi as the assembly to protest, in fact, the demand for Lingayat inclusion into a reservation category. Chorus grows for Mamata Banerjee as the India leader. Lalu bats for Didi. Congress underplays the remark. Supreme Court takes cognizance of Allahabad High Court judge's remarks. High Court said India will be run as per majority. Now, NCMP to move impeachment motion against the judge. ECI rejects Agadi EVM charge. No VVPAT mismatch in Maharashtra Assembly election, says the CEO of Maharashtra. Now, this is a tragic story which is being reported from Bengaluru. A man died by suicide and has blamed, in fact, his wife. And now this is a shocker which has come through. He, in fact, put out a full video before his death, and he has accused his estranged wife of harassment. The man was found dead at his Bengaluru apartment with a suicide note which claimed that money was being demanded by his wife and his family. In fact, suicide note also claimed false cases have been leveled against him by his wife and her family. The 31-year-old man from Uttar Pradesh was found dead in Bengaluru. Atul claimed that his wife and family demanded 3 crore rupees and also, in fact, leveled some charges of dowry against him. The police has filed a case of abetment to suicide, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, this one is a shocker which is coming in from Bengaluru. Let me go across to my colleague Pratibha Raman, who is joining us with more details on this. Pratibha, you know, it's a very long video that this man posted with a lot of details, allegations against the wife, her family, and also the entire, you know, process of the court that he has been going through for the last many years.
Well, it's not just the long video that we're talking of. We're also talking of a 24-page suicide note that he has left behind, and that has also gone viral along with this video. And he has elaborated on the kind of harassment that he and his family members have been subjected to, and that is the essence of the entire video, which goes on for several minutes, or like you pointed out, very, very long video there. But then it elaborates in detail, and he has also talked about how this video, as well as the suicide note, must be used as crucial pieces of evidence when it comes to taking up this matter for investigation. He has blamed his wife through this video as well as the suicide note, indirectly pointing out that she is responsible for his taking this drastic step. And the main reason why this has gone viral is the fact that we are talking of an engineer who's come from UP, and he's been residing in Bengaluru for quite some time. And this entire video, as well as the suicide note, has been posted on social media, immediately went viral, with several of the NGOs who have also been marked, and they immediately took up this, immediately alerted the police as well, and the police have promised immediate action, and they've said that a case has already been registered and the investigation will be on. Those who have been named, they would be starting off with the interrogation of those members there, and would look at the details that would emerge further once the interrogation is over, and the further details would emerge as the investigation progresses. Back to you.
Thank you for joining us with all those details on this story. We'll keep tracking this one, in fact, for more reactions which from the police and the families as well. Meanwhile, tensions flared up in Karnataka's Belgavi as members of the Panchmashali Lingayat community staged a large-scale protest demanding reservation. A large crowd gathered in Belgavi demanding 2A, in fact, reservation, inclusion of the Panchmashali Lingayats in the 2A reservation category. The police resorted to mild force to disperse the protesters. The Lingayats, in fact, community has been demanding 2A reservation. Now, in fact, the Seers are spearheading this protest. They have threatened to lay siege to the Savarna Sauda if their demand is not met. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah launched a counter-attack on the opposition BJP on the Panchmashali Lingayat community, demanding for increasing its reservation quantum by alleging the BJP erstwhile government had given an undertaking in the Supreme Court saying it would maintain the status quo on the reservation matrix. This, he said, is contrary to the Saffron Party's claim it had set in motion a process to increase reservation for the sect. Pratibha continues to be with us. Pratibha, this has become a big, hot political potato as far as Karnataka is concerned. with the BJP more or less going back from their position which they had stated when they were in the government, and the Congress now finding it difficult to react?
That's right. This has become another political flashpoint when the Karnataka Assembly session is on. We're talking of the winter session at Belagavi's Suvarna Sauda. Day one of the session took place where heated arguments were witnessed between Mr. Yatnal, Basnagowda Patil Yatnal, a senior BJP leader, and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. An exchange of words that took place where Mr. Yatnal did mention that the Panchamasali Lingayat, who form one of the largest communities here in Karnataka and who are also part of the major vote bank for the BJP, need to be provided this reservation under the 2A category. What does it mean for the Panchamasali Lingayat, who already fall in the 3B category, which means 5% reservation, and 2A would give them 15% reservation? A demand like this has been on since 2011. Many of the seers have been spearheading protests like this, and they've been talking about how many CMs have come and gone, but their demands have never been fulfilled. And this time around, they wanted to stage this protest on a large scale with tractors, but no permission was given. Restrictions were imposed, which primarily set the stage for the debate on the floor of the House. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah did give the clarification, like you already pointed out, with respect to the undertaking that was submitted at the Supreme Court there. But in the meantime, all eyes are on how the session would progress now, because this issue would definitely be debated on the floor of the House. Day 2 was supposed to be a crucial one. However, the protests hit the streets and it took an ugly turn with the police resorting to lathi charge there. But all eyes are on how this would really affect the political landscape in Karnataka, especially at a time when the Congress Chief Minister Siddaramaiah here in Karnataka has been facing several allegations, from the Waqf controversy to the Muda allegations there. Back to you.
Thank you for joining us with all those details. Pratyavaraman reporting from Bengaluru. In fact, let's go across and tell you about what happened in the Parliament. And it is not something, ladies and gentlemen, that you had missed through the day. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha were adjourned. Again, there is no end to the pandemonium in both the houses. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla began the proceedings by urging the members of the House to maintain decorum and highlighted the methods adopted by the opposition parties to protest that go against the fundamental principles of the House. That's the view of the Lok Sabha Speaker. Meanwhile, Treasury benches once again lashed out at the opposition and said that they are wasting the time of the House. As soon as the House assembled, the opposition party and the ruling members started trading charges over George Soros and Adani issue. In fact, MPs from both sides raised slogans in support of their issues, and they wanted to raise, forcing in Rajya Sabha Jagdeep Dhankar, the chairperson, to adjourn the proceedings till tomorrow. Now, there has been a heated discussion where the opposition has been, in fact, for the Treasury benches, as soon as the Parliament starts, have been asking and raising the issue of George Soros and the links with the Congress party. That is their allegation. Meanwhile, the opposition is calling all these as something that the Treasury benches is indulging to try and divert the attention.
संसद एक पवित्र स्थल है और इस भवन की एक उच्च गरिमा, प्रतिष्ठा, मर्यादा है और इसी भवन में हमने आजादी भी प्राप्त की है और दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र सर्वोच्च प्रतिनिधि संस्था है। संसद में देश की आकांक्षाओं, अपेक्षाओं को पूरा किया जाता है। सहमति, असहमति हमारे लोकतंत्र की परंपरा रही है, जो संविधान बनते समय भी हमने अभिव्यक्त की है। लेकिन मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि हमें गरिमा रखनी चाहिए। पिछले कुछ दिनों से मैं देख रहा हूं संसद परिसर में जिस प्रकार के प्रदर्शन किए जा रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार के नारे, पोस्टर, मुक्तों का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है, वह सिर्फ न अशोभनीय है बल्कि हमारी नियम प्रक्रियाओं, संसदीय परंपराओं के अनुरूप भी है। मुझे बड़े अफसोस के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है, इसमें प्रतिपक्ष के बड़े नेताओं का आचरण विहार भी संसदीय मर्यादा के अनुकूल नहीं है। सभी दल के लोग संसद की गरिमा, परंपरा, मर्यादा, प्रतिष्ठा को बनाए रखें।
before. Nobody has any record of it. I don't know what they're talking. Nobody knows what they're talking about.
As we have entered in third week of the winter session of Parliament, we saw another round of a ruckus and adjournment from both the lower house and upper house of the Parliament. In the lower house, it was Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju who stood up and stated from the floor of the house that it is Congress party who need to give these statements and a detailed reply on the alleged links between Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi and George Soros Foundation, who is acting against India and who had an idea of having an independent Kashmir, and therefore the reason passed Congress should clarify. On the other side, it is the Congress party who had put on a blame to the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Treasury benches that it is the Treasury benches who are not allowing the House to function, and a very minimal work was seen. Important legislative bills are to be tabled for consideration and passing, including the Disaster Amendment Bill 2084. The Railway Minister had to reply on the Railway Amendment Bill 2024, and also in the Rajya Sabha, the Banking Amendment Bill 2024 is due to be passed. But in both the houses, there were conflicts, there was ruckus, and in a very short period of time, we saw several adjournments, and then the Parliament got adjourned for yet another day. It is the Rajya Sabha chairperson Jagdeep Dhankar who called the all-party meeting of the floor leaders as well, and had tried to find out the middle ground so that Parliament can function. In fact, Lok Sabha Speaker also in the other house urged the MPs and appealed to the MPs that they should maintain the dignity and the forum of Parliament as far as the protest is concerned. People of this country is watching them because the Parliament is not getting function and crores of rupees are getting wasted. Therefore, the reason perhaps the appeal had been made, but there was no middle ground that was sought, both from the Lok Sabha MPs and from the Rajya Sabha MPs as well. It was Jairam Ramesh of the Congress party who in fact went on to allege that it was Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister in a meeting with Mr. JP Nadda and Jagdeep Dhankar stated that if you will not let the Lok Sabha work, then we will not let the Rajya Sabha work. That's huge allegations that Jairam Ramesh also levelled, but it remains to be seen that the government who is ready for any sort of discussion, and government who has been saying that if opposition wants any issue to be raised, they should first reach out to the BSc and then come to the floor of the House, and then they will admit that demand, whether that will continue or not.
Meanwhile, the Congress-led India bloc moved a no-confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairperson Jagdeep Dhankar this morning, alleging partisan functioning of the House. The notice with 50-plus signatures by MPs from Congress and Trinamool Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, Akhilesh Yadav Samajwadi Party, DMK and the RJD was submitted to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat. All parties belonging to the India group have had no option but to formally submit a no-confidence motion against Chairman of Rajya Sabha for the extremely partisan manner in which he has been conducting proceedings of the Council of States. However, the motion is the motion is unlikely to succeed because of the numbers. According to the rules, the motion to remove the chairperson must be passed by a simple majority, that is 50% plus one of the vote from the Rajya Sabha. It must then pass the test of the Lok Sabha. And since the opposition does not have a clear majority, Dhankar is unlikely to be sacked. But in last 72 years, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time that a motion, a no-confidence motion has been brought against the chair in the Rajya Sabha. At this moment, this is going to embarrass the chairperson even if it doesn't succeed.
When the time allocation has already been finalized, there was no need for the Congress party and the opposition leaders to serve a notice against the Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This notice is only prompted by their effort to get away from the exposure of the links between OCCRP, George Soros and the leadership of the Congress party. This kind of diversionary tactics will not succeed, and we are very strongly defending the Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha.
आज जो नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन ऑपोजिशन की तरफ से डाला गया है, ये भी पार्लियामेंट्री प्रोसीजर में अलाउड है। ये कोई हमने नियम का कानून तोड़ के या संविधान के बाहर जाके अपने अधिकार का हमने अधिकार नहीं जताया है। हमारा अधिकार है नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन मूव करना, पर इन सब चीज़ों से हटकर इधर उधर की बातें करना बीजेपी की आदत है। आज भी वो सदन में बाधा दे रहे हैं, इसलिए तृणमूल कांग्रेस वॉकआउट कर गई है।
India Bloc India Alliance led initiative. Biju Janata Dal is not part of the India Alliance. We are equidistant from both the India Alliance as well as the NDA Alliance, and therefore getting associated with this does not arise.
Well, as per the constitutional experts, this is for the first time in the history of independent India that a no-confidence motion is being moved by the opposition MPs against the Vice President or the Rajya Sabha chairperson. It has been seen in the past that the no-confidence motion had been moved against the Lok Sabha Speaker, but for the very first time this will happen because the no-confidence motion draft had been submitted to the Secretary General of Rajya Sabha with 60 signatories from the India bloc. The India parties had clearly stated that they are united against the Rajya Sabha chairperson as far as bringing the no-confidence motion is concerned. They have also stated that they are not against an individual. They are bringing this no-confidence motion to protect the institutions. In fact, all the parties came together. The 60 signatories in this particular no-confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairperson had been from every political party who are the member of the India bloc, and it has been also stated that now when the motion has been given to the Secretary General, it needs to be seen that whether that will be accepted or not. But remember, there are also constitutional experts who had been stating that there are norms which had been set for the Lok Sabha Speaker to bring no confidence motion against the Lok Sabha Speaker, as 50 signatories are required. But in Rajya Sabha, there is no guidelines or no rules that had been laid. So according to that process, any individual from the Rajya Sabha can bring that no confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairperson. But in this case, 60 signatories had duly signed this no confidence motion, and they had alleged that Rajya Sabha chairperson is working on a biased way against the opposition MPs. He has given chance to the treasury benches under Rule 267, but the opposition MPs request under Rule 267 was rejected, and therefore they were compelled with deep heart and deep pain to bring that no confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairperson, which we will see for the very first time in the history of our country.
Meanwhile, amid the India bloc leadership tussle, RJD chief and former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav has in fact backed Mamata Banerjee, and Lalu Prasad Yadav said that he will support Mamata Banerjee if she wants the leadership of the India bloc. He also went on to say that it will be the Mahagathbandhan, the opposition alliance, which is going to form the government in Bihar in 2025. Now, remember earlier, Tejaswi Yadav, Lalu Yadav's son, had said that he had no objection to any senior leader of the India bloc, including Mamata Banerjee, but stressed on the fact that the decision must be reached through consensus. Mamata Banerjee had on December 6 expressed dissatisfaction with the functioning of the India bloc, signalling her intent to take charge of the opposition alliance if given the opportunity. TMC MP Kirti Azad has said that she is the most suitable for the job, as she is the only leader who has repeatedly defeated the BJP in Bengal.
नेतृत्व ममता जी को जो दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे।
25 में बोल रहे सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ बनाएंगे हम लोग।
नेतृत्व ममता जी को जो दिया जाए।
हाँ दे दे।
25 में बोल रहे सरकार फिर से बना रहे हैं लालू जी।
हाँ बनाएंगे हम लोग।
सबको एक साथ बैठकर इंडिया ब्लॉक के लीडरशिप के बारे में जो समय दे सके, इंडिया ब्लॉक के काम को देश भर में, उस बारे में, नेतृत्व के बारे में चर्चा करने की हमारी सबकी इच्छा है। चाहे शरद पवार जी हो, चाहे ममता जी हो, लालू जी, अखिलेश जी, उद्धव ठाकरे साहब, शायद नवीन पटनायक भी उसमें आ सकते हैं, नवीन बाबू भी आ सकते हैं। तो हम सब बात करेंगे, चर्चा चल रही है, आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ संपर्क चल रहा है।
देखिए अभी हमारी पार्टी की तरफ से अभी कोई ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट नहीं आया है, तो अभी मैं इस पर फिलहाल कुछ बोल नहीं पाऊंगी। सभी पार्टीज की अपनी अपनी राय होती है, फिर आपस में मिल बैठ के जब मीटिंग होगी उसमें सर्वसम्मति से जो भी होगा वो हमारी पार्टी को स्वीकार होगा।
ममता बनर्जी का नाम लगातार आगे आ रहा है, तमाम जो अलायंस मेंबर्स हैं वो उनका ही नाम ले रहे हैं कि उनको लीड करना चाहिए।
आज इस पर कहीं कोई चर्चा नहीं है, न कोई आवश्यकता है। आज जरूरत है इस देश में सौहार्द कायम करने की। आज जरूरत है इस देश में महंगाई घटाने की। आज जरूरत है हमारे देश का करोड़ों नौजवान जो बेरोजगार है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार रहते चलते पेपर लीक हो रहा है। आज इस पर सब पर हमें सोचना है और इस पर समाधान का रास्ता भरना है। और इस तरह की इंडिया गठबंधन इसके लिए का है
क्योंकि लालू प्रसाद यादव से लेकर उमर अब्दुल्ला से लेकर शरद पवार
ये ऐसा है,
बोल रहे हैं कि राहुल गांधी की जगह ममता बनर्जी को लीड करना।
ये सब इन लोगों का अपने विचार है, ये इन लोगों के विचार हो सकते हैं, लेकिन आज जो राष्ट्र के सामने, देश के सामने, हम लोगों के सामने बड़ा सवाल है, वो किसानों का सवाल है। बड़ा सवाल है इस देश के करोड़ों नौजवानों का, जो पढ़े लिखे हैं, जो हमारी दौलत है। किसी देश की दौलत हीरा जवाहरात सोना चांदी नहीं होता है, उस देश की दौलत हमारा नौजवान है, हमारा किसान है और देश के रहने वाले लोग हैं। हमें उनकी भलाई के लिए, हमें उनके वेलफेयर के लिए आज चर्चा करना है, सोचना है, सदन में रखना है। आज ये सवालात हैं।
देखिए इंडिया ब्लॉक में कई सारी पार्टीज हैं, आज से नहीं है, लोकसभा से पहले है। तो जो मंच गणतांत्रिक है, डेमोक्रेटिक अगर कोई अलायंस है, उसमें सब अपने विचार रख सकते हैं, पर निर्णय सब मिलकर ही लेंगे।
Even though YSRCP is not part of India bloc or NDA, I sincerely feel, because of the past experience, and I have been seeing the Congress party for the last 8 years in Rajya Sabha. This is the 9th year. At this point of time, I feel that the Congress party has failed to lead India bloc for the last one and a half years. Didi ji will be in a position to lead the India bloc parties, and Didi ji will be able to handle any issue, any problem that crops up in any given situation, and handle more effectively and efficiently than Congress party. Therefore, Didi ji should be made to lead the India bloc parties.
लगातार जो इंडिया ब्लॉक के अलायंस पार्टनर्स हैं, शरद पवार, लालू प्रसाद यादव, उमर अब्दुल्ला, तमाम लीडर्स अब बोल रहे हैं कि ममता बनर्जी को इंडिया ब्लॉक की लीडरशिप दे देनी चाहिए। खुद ममता बनर्जी ने बोला, मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से इंडिया ब्लॉक लीड कर सकती हूँ। किस तरीके से देखते हैं आप इन तमाम जो कोरस ग्रो हो रहा है?
आज तो आपको अपना रिकॉर्ड स्ट्रेट और ठीक रखना चाहिए। अभी आपने देखा होगा सीनियर मेंबर पार्लियामेंट आरजेडी के नेता अभी यहाँ बोल के गए कि आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट लालू जी की बात की गई है, लालू जी ने ऐसा नहीं कहा। तो वो बात छोड़िए, हाउस नहीं चलता है, रूलिंग पार्टी के एमपी 3 दिन से नहीं चला रहे हैं। क्यों नहीं चला रहे भाई? रूलिंग पार्टी की तो जिम्मेवारी होती है हाउस चले। आज तक इतिहास में कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि सत्ता पक्ष हाउस ना चलने दे, तो इसके लिए जिम्मेवारी सत्ता पक्ष की है।
To comment on the leadership crisis of the India bloc as well, because several non-India bloc parties, including the YSRCP, had requested Mamata Banerjee to take over the India bloc. What's the Biju Janata Dal stand on it, or if you want to comment on that?
You see, as far as India bloc is concerned, since we are not part of the India bloc, for us to comment on it would be inappropriate. If we were, probably I would have held a view. But I would believe that when we are not a part of the India bloc, to talk about its leadership, at least from the Biju Janata Dal's perspective, would not be right.
Thank you so much for that. Was Biju Janata Dal MP Sasmit Patra speaking to NDTV.
Meanwhile, the government is ready to launch One Nation, One Election project and can introduce the bill in the parliament in the upcoming, this current session, ladies and gentlemen. Sources have told NDTV the cabinet has already approved the report of Ramnath Kovind committee. The government also wants to form consensus on the bill and can send it to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Now, the JPC will hold discussions with the representatives of all political parties. The other stakeholders will be involved in the process as well. Speakers of all states assemblies can be called upon with intellectuals from across the country. The opinion of common people will also be taken in. In fact, initially the government wants to involve the people, and the ways and means to achieve this can be discussed on the later stages.
मेरे साथ बीजेपी के वरिष्ठ नेता और लोकसभा सांसद जगदम्बिका पाल हैं। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन बिल सरकार ला सकती है, ऐसा रामदास अठावले केंद्रीय मंत्री ने कहा है इसी सत्र के दौरान। आप कैसे देखते हैं इस पहल को?
नहीं, देखिए, ये देश के हित में है और सरकार सभी दलों से इस बात पे चर्चा भी कर रही है। इस पे एक सहमति बनाने की कोशिश भी हो रही है, क्योंकि एक इलेक्शन क्यों होता है? गवर्नेंस के लिए, गवर्नमेंट बनाने के लिए। लेकिन लगातार अगर इलेक्शंस हो, लोकसभा के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर कुछ राज्यों के इलेक्शंस हो, फिर दूसरे इलेक्शंस हो, तो लगातार ये असेंबली और पार्लियामेंट के इलेक्शंस राउंड द ईयर जो हुआ करते हैं, उससे आचार संहिता लगती है, मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगता है, उससे कहीं ना कहीं विकास बाधित होता है। जब एक तरफ प्रधानमंत्री का विजन ये हो कि हम 2027 तक दुनिया की टॉप 3 इकोनॉमी में होंगे, तो टॉप 5 फ्रेजाइल इकोनॉमी जो 2014 में मिली थी, अगर टॉप 5 में हम फ्रेजाइल से आ गए और टॉप 3 में ले जाना है, तो इससे साफ है कि हम जब गवर्नेंस करेंगे, जब डिलीवरी करेंगे, जब डेवलपमेंट करेंगे, तभी कोई चीज़ होगी।
तो विपक्ष ने कहा है कि इस पर ये संसदीय लोकतंत्र के खिलाफ है ये प्रस्ताव।
देखिए, हमारा प्रयास है कि एक सहमति होती है, इस पे डायलॉग होगा, इस पे पार्टी हमारी ऑलरेडी कमेटी बना रखी है और उस पे आधार पे है। ये कोई सवाल है नहीं कि ये तो देश के हित की बात है ना, इसलिए सबके हित की बात है, सभी पार्टियों को इस पर विचार
हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया।
माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जब 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री बने थे, तब उन्होंने देखा था कि भाई देश भर में बार बार चुनाव होते हैं और लोगों को भी उसमें तकलीफ होती है और उसमें पैसा भी ज़्यादा बर्बाद होता है। तो इसीलिए शुरू में जब संसद बनी थी और 26 जनवरी 1950 को संविधान लागू करने के बाद जो पहला इलेक्शन हुआ था 1952 में, तो तब लोकसभा और विधानसभा एक साथ होती थी, 4-5 चुनाव एक साथ ही हुए थे। लेकिन बाद में कई गवर्नमेंट डिसॉल्व हुई, पार्टी इधर उधर हो गया, उससे मतलब ये अनियमित आई है। तो माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का विजन है कि भाई वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन अगर एक बार हो जाएगा तो ये लोगों का टाइम भी बचाने में उसकी मदद होगी। और इसीलिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का एजेंडा हमारा है। माननीय रामनाथ कोविंद जी के कमेटी ने उसका रिपोर्ट सरकार के पास दे दिया है, सरकार ने कैबिनेट में उसको मंजूरी भी दी है। अभी संसद में आना बाकी है, तो इस सत्र में ही वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का बिल आ सकता है और उसमें चर्चा करके अपोजिशन को हमारा कहना है कि भाई इसको आपने सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। अगर उसमें कुछ सुझाव देना है तो सुझाव अमेंडमेंट के लिए दे सकते हैं, लेकिन वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को मेरे रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया का पूरा सपोर्ट है और वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन होना चाहिए, ये हमारी भूमिका है।
तो आपको लगता है शीतकालीन सत्र में सरकार ये बिल ला सकती है?
हाँ, मतलब अभी ला सकती है। अभी 2 सप्ताह बाकी है। अभी इसमें क्या हंगामा भी चल रहा है, इस पर बहस होना जरूरी है, चर्चा होना बहुत जरूरी है और सबका सुनकर सरकार अंतिम निर्णय लेगी। लेकिन सरकार ने तो निर्णय लिया है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, तो मुझे लगता है कि इस सत्र में भी बिल आ सकता है।
How do you see this idea? The government sources are saying that this bill, after it is tabled, will be sent to JPC for further deliberation.
First of all, the idea of one nation, one election is against parliamentary democracy norms. We are a parliamentary democracy. A government, be it a central government or a federal state government, only is there until it has a majority. There is no fixed term. and only in a presidential form of government we have fixed term. In my opinion, this is unconstitutional. If the government tries to table the bill, and if they send it to a joint parliamentary committee, they will get these diverse views. And in fact, even when they bring the bill back to the House at any point of time, it will be defeated because I'm sure their own alliance partners, the TDP and the JDU, will not support it.
एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को लेकर के ये सरकार मनमानी करना चाहती है और ये सरकार ये थोपना चाहती है। सरकार को तर्क देना पड़ेगा कि आखिर इसे किस तरह से कंटिन्यू किया जा सकता है। ये हमारी पार्टी सदन में अपनी राय रखेगी, लेकिन ये सरकार की मनमानी नहीं चल सकती है। ये सरकार की मनसा नीयत ठीक नहीं है। ये चाहते हैं क्षेत्रीय दलों को समाप्त करना, इसलिए इस तरह की सरकार वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की बात कर रही है। सबकी राय से ही कुछ फैसला हो सकता है। इस बार विपक्ष मजबूत है।
All right. The Chief Election Commissioner of Maharashtra now has said that during the Maharashtra Assembly elections 2024, as per Supreme Court of India and the Election Commission guidelines, 5 VVPAT slips at each assembly segment were to be counted to match it with the numbers in the EVM. In all 288 assembly segments, a total of 1,145 VVPAT slips were counted the same day of counting, which was 23rd of November, and there was no mismatch which was found in the numbers of the VVPAT slips matching with their concerned EVM. So, EVM VVPAT checks in Maharashtra have been done, and there have been no mismatch as far as the Chief Election Officer of Maharashtra is concerned. Now, this is an important update coming in.
That earlier tallied, and now, of course, once again, a confirmation that those 5%, which the Election Commission has decided is the appropriate number to tally. This is based on a study of the Indian Statistical Institute. Some would, of course, argue why, when the EVM and the VVPAT was introduced, this after a petition by Subramanian Swamy, that there should have been corroboration of the EVM and the VVPAT to at least to 20%. But be that as it may, the Supreme Court, based on a study of the ISI, has kept it to 5%. Now, the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commission has confirmed that there's been no discrepancy on that issue. So it's in that backdrop that they are giving themselves a complete and total clean sheet. It's just not the EVMs. I think they have now said this has to be a national movement, a people's movement against the Election Commission and against what they believe is faulty procedures, because it's just not EVMs, it's an entire process. For example, how do you decide the date of an election? Be it Maharashtra, where they didn't hold it along with Haryana, or the dates were changed in Haryana based on the BJP's petition. In Maharashtra also, as you can see how things have progressed. Then, of course, the voter data. How do you, remove 40 lakh people from the list to include 40 lakhs? All those discrepancies and that entire process. It's a long process in the election. It's just not the EVMs. And then, as I pointed out, the EVMs and the VVPAT. How many should be counted? Should it be only 5%? Should it be 20%? Many political parties ask for 100%. That will be back to the counting ballot. So all those issues have to be looked at. The Supreme Court has not given any guideline on that, but has left it to the Election Commission. The Election Commission, based on a study given by the ISI, Statistical Institute, has based it on 5%. Whether that can be increased or not, these are things that need to be looked at in its entirety to increase the confidence of stakeholders who are participating in this parliamentary democratic process.
Let me bring in Advocate Arvind Tiwari, spokesperson of the NCP Sharad Pawar at this moment. And Krishna Hegre, spokesperson and former MLA Shiv Sena Shinde faction, is also with us. Gentlemen, thank you for speaking to us. Mr. Tiwari, now there were a lot of doubts which were raised on the EVMs. There was a village that wanted to conduct their ballot paper, but the EC says that they have now, in fact, gone ahead and checked all the VVPATs, and they have come out and said that there is zero discrepancy. It's a 100% match.
I don't understand where is the hurry and what is the reason to hurry in declaring a clean sheet. See, there are two different directions of the Supreme Court. One is in the clutch of petitions filed by Chandrababu Naidu and a few other activists, in which it has said that it is mandatory upon the Election Commission to ensure that at least minimum 5 EVM machines, VVPATs, need to be tallied after election. That is binding on the Election Commission. Subsequently, on a separate petition, it has been decided that 5%. Now there is a miscommunication here. I heard our colleague saying that 5% has been counted. No, 5 machines have been counted. And whereas the Election Commission, there is an order of the Supreme Court which allows for a candidate to seek 5% verification of VVAT slips, and many candidates have applied for that. So let those countings happen, let the results of those things come, because one thing is very much certain, that there is a doubt, and there is a reasonable doubt of tampering in the EVM machines, and multiple reasons are there for those, and the Election Commission is failed to clarify those doubts.
Okay.
And there
No,
are
but the
technical
Election
issues.
Commission can only go by with their process. In their current process, they have said that we have matched everything. Once that, like you are saying, the 5% where certain candidates have demanded that, once that comes out, will that be satisfactory for you? I mean,
No. We are raising the whole technicality of the issue because see, the question here is, how does the process work? Once we go for a polling, once we press a button for a candidate, that's supposing we have voted for a candidate.
Right.
The signal has to go directly to the unit which stores the vote, and then it has to come to the VVPAT machine, which shows the output. Now, the input that we have, the signal goes to the VVPAT machine first, and then it goes to the controlling unit. So there is a play into this whole process. So that whole process is being challenged, and my contention is that if there is a reasonable doubt, among, and now there are lakhs of
you made,
who are
hold on, sir. Just hold on to that thought. You made a couple of points. Let me get Krishna Hegde to respond to that. Krishna Hegde, the opposition says that they are still not satisfied. The answer of the Election Commission or whatever, they are raising questions on the process as well. They are not satisfied with the explanation as far as the Election Commission is concerned.
Ankit, when the Election Commission has called them for, that please prove that there is tampering in the EVM, they could not do it. Then they had a PIL with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court threw off their petition. Let me tell you that when they win in Delhi, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, West Bengal, they have no problem with the EVM. Then they win in Jharkhand, they have no problem with it. Simultaneously, when there is an election in Maharashtra, they have a huge problem. Now, this is a double standard. However, the Election Commission, according to the procedure, the Chief Electoral Officer of Maharashtra has counted 1440 slips, and it is matching. The Election Commission, in his affidavit with the Supreme Court, has said that till now we have counted 4 crore slips, and still it is matching. Still they have a problem. Now, Mr. Tiwari ji said that, let 5% be counted. Okay, let 5% be counted. 22 candidates have filed the application for that, it will be counted. But when 4 crore slips have already been counted, and still you are blaming the EVM, it is made by the election, with the ECI and BES.